Monday Night Raw took place tonight from the Performance Centre. You had everyone in the audience wearing a mask, and I heard that the Performance Centre is mandated now that all the performers have to wear a mask. So it's basically like what everyone else has to do. In real life, WWE talent doesn't get that exemption anymore. Just the wrestlers who are on screen don't have to wear a mask, but everyone else has to. They had an outbreak. They had McIntyre come out to talk about his match against Dolph Ziggler at the horror show Extreme Rules. McIntyre runs down Ziggler, and then Ziggler comes on stage, said his stipulation for horror show was a secret. He said McIntyre was dumb for letting him pick the step. He reminded him that he was WWE champion. Ziggler told McIntyre not to compare resumes because his was longer. They go back and forth, and then Dolph Ziggler brings out Heath Slater. And once he brought out Slater, it was, someone who's been fired. I don't know if he's back. They might bring him back. They probably will. No way. They may just set this up. But, Slater's wearing a shirt that says free agent. And he speaks about the long history him and Drew had together. And they got called up around the same time. McIntyre was the chosen one. He says at that time he wasn't, but now he is. Which is, true. Slater recalled watching him win the title at WrestleMania. He was crying with his kids because he was so happy. And when McIntyre was fired years earlier, Slater called him every day because they were brothers. However, when Slater was fired, McIntyre wasn't there for him. Slater said they only spoke once since he got fired, and it was on the bump, the only show that they allowed him to appear to speak his mind. He spoke about his kid and how much they look up to him. Slater recalled McIntyre claiming he would petition to get a match from him, and he never did. And the whole "I got things" thing was no gimmick. Slater was here to take an opportunity. He challenges McIntyre. McIntyre says, "No, I don't want to fight you." He refuses. Then Slater shoves him. Then he slaps him. And of course, Drew says yes, and he got the fight. McIntyre accepts. I thought Heath Slater was amazing here. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he probably should have got his job back from his performance tonight because he was great. So they had McIntyre and Slater wrestle. It was a nothing match. It was they were both in jeans. 26 seconds. We all knew McIntyre would have won quick. Hits a Claymore quick for the win. After the match, Ziggler yells at Slater after Drew left, and then he attacks him. However, Drew McIntyre comes back. He beats down Dolph Ziggler, throws him out, and he lifts Slater up, and they have a handshake, and McIntyre helps him up, and they hug. That was a really good moment. I thought Heath Slater was great, and I thought the beginning of the show was great. I loved the whole segment. He had Sarah Screeber trying to review Bayley and Sasha. They don't want to talk to her. They just leave. Asuka shows up, and then Screeber, she's not a good actress. Jeez. Bayley and Sasha promo. Bayley said Raw could officially start now, and they were here. They spoke about their busy schedules. Bayley says Nikki can't beat her, and said Sasha would beat Asuka. Asuka interrupts, and she has a special surprise for everyone. It's her return of her tag team partner, Kairi Sane. And Kairi, I heard, was married in Japan to her husband, her fiance. It's who she married. So she is back now. I'm not sure what her contract is. I think she's gonna leave. I really think she's leaving. I think Asuka and Io are staying, but I think Kairi, unfortunately, is gonna leave us. When Kairi made her big return, she set up a match with Sasha Banks, and Kairi Sane wrestled Sasha, and Sasha's had a crazy week. So on Raw, she was in a tag match with Asuka. She wrestled her for a bit in that match. Then on NXT, she had that great match with Kairi Sane. Io Shirai. I say Kairi. She had a great match with Io Shirai on Raw. She has another very good match with Kairi Sane, even though it ends in a DQ. So she's been great this year. I think Sasha may be the female wrestler of the year between her and Asuka. But I think Sasha has been really good this year. I think she looks great, of course. She's been working really good. Ever since she came back, she's different. So Kairi Sane, they have a good match. It's okay. It's solid. They do well. They work well. They would. There's a cool octopus spot where Kairi has Sasha, and of course Sasha gets out of it. They have, while it lasted, it was fun watching Kairi Sane getting a good match instead of Nia Jax trying to kill her. We haven't seen Nia Jax in a while, which is good, but hopefully never have to see her again. That was good. At least Nia Jax is not trying to kill Kairi Sane. Kairi's great if they let her work. If they pushed her like they push Asuka or even Io, she can have great matches. They do good, but of course Bayley comes in and she gets a DQ. It turns into that because Bayley interferes, and then Asuka starts attacking them both, and then Asuka sets up Bayley and Sasha on the outside, and Kairi Sane hits a big elbow from the top rope, takes out Sasha Banks and Bayley, and it sets up the main event, which was Bayley and Asuka later in the show. This was cool, and it was a cool segment the way it ended. So far so good. I really liked the opening stuff. I liked the stuff with the woman, so we're doing good. They have a Aleister Black backstage segment, and he's jumped by Buddy Murphy or Seth Rollins. Miz TV, they do this stuff there. Viking Raiders have a segment with Big Show. Big Show's mad at him. He stops both their chests to get him pumped up. The KO show, I'm sorry, I don't want to watch Seth Rollins anymore. I don't care. The only time I care about Seth Rollins when he talks about what's going on with Becky. And we can see Becky again, but I don't care about him as a wrestler at all. He had Kevin Owens and Rey Mysterio eventually team up against Seth Rollins and Murphy. This was alright match. Owens and Mysterio get the win, and what happens is Mysterio said he wants to rip out Rollins' eye with his bare hands, and Rollins and Owens even they look surprised, and I think what happens is Mysterio he wants to basically have an eye for an eye match, and I guess you can rip out someone's eye. I don't know what it is, but it's a horror-themed show. This would work better. You should just move it to October. Why not move Extreme Rules to October and you have horror? It's actually like scary, during Halloween season. I don't know why you're doing it in the middle of the summer. Well, it is a horror show that's going on in the world right now anyway, so maybe it does work, but I would do it there. Charlie Caruso. So, yeah, the MVP Bobby Lashley stuff, I'm just going to skip. I don't care about this at all. So, you had backstage Angel Garza, and you saw Zelina Vega wearing an insanely attractive top, smoking hot, very revealing. Love Zelina. Alistair's very lucky, as I credit him every week. Yeah, Ric Flair stopped by, and Flair, yes. So, oh man, why? This guy, if he gets COVID, he's gonna die. I hate saying that, but my God, this is such bad shape now. But he's with Angel and Andrade. It's Andrade's future son-in-law, Zelina. I'm sure he loves being around Zelina. He's giving them advice, and he warned them not to get to attack the Big Show. He had Charlie Cruz interview Asuka and Kairi Sane, Orin Andrade and Angel Garza, Zelina Vega beat Big Show and the Viking Raiders. Good matchup, solid match. Heels get the win here. Flair was, Orin celebrated with the heels here. That's actually the cover of the thumbnail because of what Zelina was wearing. That's what she wins it this week. But okay, backstage had Flair congratulate Orin another one. Orin is still focused on Big Show. R-Truth actually runs into Orin and Truth, and he backs into R-Truth. It was just a weird segment. They beat him up. Or they don't really beat him up, but it was just, I didn't like the segment. He had Billie Kay against Ruby Riott. When Ruby Riott's losing to Billie Kay, it's bad. You lose to Peyton Royce, it's not good either, but Peyton Royce is someone who they push more than Billie Kay the way they book him. I guess with Ruby Riott, she's just going to form something with Liv Morgan. Just do it already. I don't know what they're waiting for, but I think my fear is they're going to do it and no one's going to care. You have to do it now. Get it over with now. Also want to mention, speaking of the Riot Squad, with mentioned Ruby and Liv, Sarah Logan's pregnant. That's really nice. She's married to which one is it? The bald guy, Ro. I'm not going to guess if it's Eric or Ivar. I don't care, but Ro. That's who she's with. have a kid. That's really great news. So congratulations to Ro and Sarah. You had Bayley and Sasha interviewed by Charlie Caruso backstage, and Banks says they had no reason to worry. Bayley was on board, and of course it sets up Bayley and Asuka in the main event. They have a great match, goes on for a long time. Not as good as some of the other women's matches, but this was really good. They work well together, these two. They had two really good matches in NXT. One thing I've noticed, I guess, with Asuka is she can't. She obviously struggles with Charlotte, but she can beat Bayley. She usually always beats Bayley because she beat her twice in NXT all those years ago when she won. I think it was 4 years ago. She beat her twice. She's beaten Sasha before. She'll likely beat her again. She's beat Becky a whole bunch of times actually. So, she can't. She struggles with Charlotte, but. Yeah, Kairi Sane on the outside, and the Kabuki Warriors certainly get the best of Sasha and Bayley tonight without question. What happens near the end is it goes back and forth. Sasha gets involved. She even grabs a water, and when she grabs a water, she gives it to Bayley. Bayley throws it in Asuka's face, and all of a sudden, Nikki Cross shows up behind the penalty box. He starts slamming the glass, and Bayley gets nervous. She, I think, gets caught in the Asuka lock. She tries to escape. But she can, and she eventually does, but then Asuka rolls on Bayley, and Asuka pins Bayley. I would have just had her submit to the Asuka lock and like the finish, but Asuka with the win over Bayley sets up Asuka and rules. Of course, Bayley's facing Nikki Cross, so they help build that matchup too. And that was Raw. I thought the stuff with Heath Slater was great. I thought Heath Slater was certainly the star of the show. He was the best part of the show without question, in my opinion. And everything else just kind of was there. I didn't think anything else was really that memorable. But I thought overall the show was okay, in particular because of the opening segment that made the show.